Welcome, ITN friends. I'm Brett with In the Now magazine with
Tom Maxwell from HellYeah.
All right, and Tom, tell him.
Hey, if you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
Excellent, excellent. So, Tom, appreciate you taking the time today. Tom, first of all, we'll start off with you're on tour now with Volbeat, Five Finger Death Punch, and Nothing More.
Yep.
How's that going so far?
So far, so good. Show's been great. Crowd's been great. Response has been great. It's a very easy tour. We're all friends with each other. We just met the Nothing More guys and their young, talented band out of Texas, and it's going excellent.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. So this tour runs through October, and then from there, what happens?
There's talks of us extending to go, maybe do some dates in Canada and some spot dates here and there. But I think after this, we're gonna, if we don't do that, we're gonna kind of take a little bit of a break until the end of the year, and then start the year off fresh. We've been nonstop going. So since I don't even know when we started, it's just kind of a blur, Groundhog Day every day, just a different place. But I think a good month and a half off would be good.
Recharge the batteries, right?
Recharge the batteries and just kind of, just take a break from it.
There you go, there you go. Sometimes that's how you come back much more powerful than
You do,
ever, right?
Yeah. When you're away for so long, you miss home a lot. Yesterday, we played my hometown, so I got to go home for a day, and it was kind of a tease. You instantly, miss being home, and then when you're home for a while, you miss being on the road. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Absolutely, no, I completely hear you there. So now the new record, Blood for Blood, it came out over the summer. It was met with, obviously, charted 18th on the Billboard charts. I think it was 33 over in the UK or something. It charted pretty high in both places. So does that mean anything to you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Considering there's, almost 1,500 less retail stores to buy records nowadays.
Right.
Be able to sell physical copies is tough. But also, the band went through some changes. We parted ways with a couple guys and had a very, tumultuous cycle last time, and for us to, myself, Vinny, and Chad, to kind of pull together and really focus in on writing, probably the most important record in our career as a band, to really make a statement out there that, we can survive this, not just to anybody else, but to ourselves, and put out something that we're very proud of is pretty important.
Well, it's certainly, from the reviews I've read online, everything's positive,
Yeah.
Obviously,
you
very
get
high
a few
reviews.
people out there. You get a few people out there that just want to hate the band anyway.
They hate everything, They
Yeah.
sit behind their computer, right, and they can go ahead and type whatever they want.
Anybody can be a jerk, a critic, and all this other
Exactly.
stuff. Whatever.
Exactly. So now, can you kind of take us through the writing process? Whenever you guys write a record, how does that work?
Usually it's me and Vinny sitting down. Well, I can, at least with this record, it was, I flew into Texas, and me and him sat every day, and we just would churn out riffs and arrangements and kind of demo, the material. Once we got something to get, solid, he would kind of like raw record his drums as we were going, and then I would go back in and kind of just a rough, guitar and some, just basic bass stuff, just kind of get an idea where we were going. And we took that, and then we went to Kevin, our producer. This is the first time working with a producer with this band, and went to Vegas, and we kind of just, a lot of the stuff was pretty good as it was. All we did was kind of just maybe polish some stuff, and then we would rearrange and rewrite some things, and Chad would come in and he kind of put the icing on the cake when the music was pretty much done, or if needed, we would write around Chad. If he had a vocal part that called for something else, we would just kind of restructure what we were doing around it to make because to us the vocals are the most important part of the song. That's what's reaching people mainly. Right. A guitar riff or a drum solo is going to do it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, that's kind of how we did it, man. It was just the three of us with Kevin really buckling down for a few months, and just churning it out, man, and came out like really honest and very raw. I wouldn't say off the cuff because we put a lot of you know, time and emotion into it, making sure that we wrote a record that was very dynamic and kind of took you on a journey, and it wasn't just one note, you know, not heavy all the time. Because, you know, that's one of the things I wanted to get away from was that whole southern metal kind of staple that people put on us, because that's not who I was. You know what I mean? I mean, we had some songs on records in the past that had that, and it was kind of fueled by, you know, the perception and giving people, you know, that kind of outlook. But, you know, I'm not that dude. I'm a hardcore kid from Baltimore, but I also like melodic stuff a lot. And so I wanted to do the most brutal riffs and mix it with also the most subtle, because you can still be emotionally heavy without being aggressive.
Right.
You know, mainly lyrically, you can take like a somber piece of music and put the most heavily emotionally charged vocals on top of it, and it'll just bring you to your knees.
Right.
So
absolutely.
that's kind of like what, you know, I wanted to have from the band, was like a very dynamic record. And, you know, I think Chad went in there and he probably, you know, performed probably some of the best stuff he's ever done in his entire career. And Vinny played like a motherfucker, you know, he just made it one. And
it's definitely a different record for you guys, because I think you guys are known to be kind of the party, like you say, kind of that southern rock, and this record is way off from that.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
that's okay. You know what I mean? There's songs that have that element, and that's fine. But we've already done that.
Right.
You know, you move on. You know,
Mature.
I mean, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You know, bands like, you know, the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, we're not writing Stairway to Heaven every record, or writing, you know, all, you know what I mean? It's just, you gotta go and move on, you know. I mean, I think, you know, when our future records, they'll be even more evolved from where we are. It's just a matter of inspiration and influence, you know. And I don't find inspiration and influence, you know, with a keg in the back of a pickup fucking truck. You know, I
it's fun sometimes, though,
it's
right?
fun sometimes, but you know what? Every once in a
Right.
while, you like
Right.
to have something else.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, so.
Well, so you brought up Kevin in your first time working with a producer. I mean, how did that work out? I mean, obviously Kevin's been nominated for Grammys in the past. I mean, he's a pretty big name.
He's great. Well, he was Mutt Lange's guy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, like
Oh,
for
nice.
years and years and years.
Yeah.
I mean, Mutt, you know, produced Back in Black and you know, all the big records. You know,
Yeah.
Def Leppard. You know what I mean? So all the secrets that he had, he taught Kevin.
Nice.
So Kevin, you know, I can listen to our record and I can hear that a little bit, like on some, especially on the vocals, man. I hear like big choruses and stuff, because him and Chad like really put together some beautiful stuff on this new record. You know, like a lot of the backing vocals are just massive, and you know, reminding me of some of the stuff that I loved about the old Mutt Lange records. They were just big
great.
walls of sound.
Yeah.
But it was great, man. You know, I mean, we've been self-produced. Vinny, you know, pretty much has been producing all his records since the first Pantera records, all the way up. And for him, it was the first time for him to just sit back and play drums, let somebody else just take it.
Kind of a relief, huh?
A little bit.
To a degree.
Well, he had a lot more, you know, freedom to just be a drummer.
Right.
Rather than, you know, I mean, he got in there and he had his say in things, and he definitely, you know, was a part of making sure that, you know, we got what we were looking for, and that he, you know, the things that he hears that I don't hear, you know what I mean? But working with Kevin was great, man. He's just an amazing, he's talented, he's touched, you know. I mean, I went in there and he was very, 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 I like being challenged. You know,
Sure.
I want somebody to come in and say, because like I was about to say, you know, we've been so self-produced that we never had anybody from outside the box kind of direct us or steer us in a different direction. So I welcome that. It's like, okay, I have this riff. It's good, but can we make it better or whatnot? And he did that. You know, we wrote like a song on the record together, just me and him, called Hush. And I went in one day and I just had an idea, and he got on the piano. We just built it, and about 3 days later, we finally showed the band and surprised them with it. It was like, hey, this is what we've been working on. What do you think? And
became a killer
It
too.
did, man.
Yeah.
I was actually a little nervous because there's elements to it that I thought were a little, outside the box for us. A little poppy element maybe
Sure.
to like the chorus or the way the momentum goes. But Chad fell in love with it, and he went in there and he actually, I said what I was talking about earlier about having a song it's aggressive, but his lyrics that he put on that song are so personal to him and so heavy that it made it a HellYeah tune even more.
Yeah.
And it's just such a departure from your typical, just nonstop, blood for blood, demons type
Right,
of stuff
right.
that we do, that we love to do live, and we love to pummel people live, but songs like that, man, give you balance,
Sure, absolutely.
you know?
I think any great metal band out there do have those songs to kind of balance it out, right?
They should do it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them do.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
should. I mean, heavy metal musicians are some of the most talented
Yeah.
guys out there. They are very well trained. They're very disciplined.
Mhm.
I think a lot of them kind of get stuck in the idea that they heavy shit.
That's right.
I think you just need to show a little bit of your other side if you have it.
Right, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, I mean, that kind of takes us to your new single, Moth. That's
Yeah.
kind of off the path a little bit from you guys, too,
I think
And
it is.
It seemed, quite emotional to Chad as well as with the lyrics and everything, so.
Yeah, that was a song I was writing the riff to it at home, and it was a song. It's kind of a desperate kind of song. I mean, the guitars, the way they go. Because when I was really putting it together, I was at Vinny's, and it was one of those, I'm missing home type of riffs. It's not even. It was something that like I wasn't working on.
Right.
And I was probably like such a depressive mood. That I was just playing and it just came out like
Yeah.
a natural filtered through me kind of a thing, and it became that song. I mean, there's really cool elements to it. We built the shit out of it and we made it big here and there and stuff. But yeah, it's different. It's not drink, drag, drunk. It's not blood for blood. It's not
Right.
you wouldn't know kind of stuff or alcohol and ass or nothing.
Right.
It's a heavy, real different type of tune. And if anything, a lot of people, are hearing Chad from, his Mudvayne days in that song. Because
Yeah.
he's really singing, and he's got such a distinct voice. And, with a lot of our stuff, he was really aggro, and I think with this record and that song especially, and with Hush even too,
Right.
he's singing his ass off. He be Chad. Don't be Chad from Mudvayne. Don't be Chad from HellYeah. Just be you.
Yeah.
And that's what he did, and then, it just turned out great.
Well, yeah, it's a great song, definitely.
Yes, it's
so.
doing well. It's starting to get real traction now.
It
and
is.
moving up the charts.
It's part of the set list too, right? We're gonna
Yeah.
hear it tonight.
Yeah, you will.
Excellent, excellent. Looking forward to that
Yeah, yeah.
one. So that's cool. So if you had to say there was a low point maybe in your career, could you pinpoint one?
A low point, probably right after my previous band, Nothing Face. We disbanded. I didn't know what I was going to do. I kind of, it was around the time my mother passed away, and it all kind of fell in at one time. And so I kind of just fell out of the picture for a while, and just disappeared a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was kind of a low point, but at the same time, I think it was a period where, in a musical sense, I had to really, dig in and find out what it was that I didn't want anymore.
Yeah.
Things that I did want. And then when Chad called me, because we've been best friends for a long time, and he had a lot of time down at like Mudvayne or something. It was going to take like a year and a half off completely. So he's like, let's do this, let's get together. And that's kind of how this all started.
Yeah.
We didn't expect 6-7 years later, here we are.
Still going?
4 records.
That's
A lot
awesome.
of people want to look at it as a side band, or a project. It's not.
Not anymore.
I think we proved that.
Yeah, you have.
This isn't like, side band, projects put together a album.
Right.
They do 1 or 2 tours, then they go back to doing whatever the hell it is that they're doing. We love this. It's, it has a life on its own.
Well, it seems like at this point, can we say it's everyone's main project?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can
Definitely.
tell. So
I mean, I don't have time for anything else.
right.
You know, I have a family at home, and when I'm done with this, I just want to go home, man. You know.
Yeah, hang
And
out with the family.
That's it. You know,
Yeah.
Chad's got his life outside the band, and
Yeah.
everybody, Vinny does as well. You know, we put everything we have into this, and off the road, we're, you know, we do our own thing. I mean, we still are in contact. We have to be. You know,
Right.
we're in business together, but at the same time, we're all really tight friends. You know,
Yeah.
that's one thing that's really important too, because I think if none of us got along and we weren't so close, we wouldn't be a band. Which brings me to why we had to part ways with, you know, Greg and Bob.
Right.
Because our love for this band and our music is deeper than that. Chad had a 18-year relationship with Greg for years that he had to kind of like say, what's more important to me? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I applaud him for that because he put himself first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to do that.
Must have been tough.
Like, damn right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he went into a depression for a little bit, but this album is what pulled him out of it. You know, he really dug in deep, and you know, when I called apart when he went home, and you know, he almost didn't come back because he was just so just so
Sure.
you know, just twirling all over the place, and you know, he came back and he just started, man, it just started pouring out of him, and then finally with the end result, you know, we're just like, shit, man.
It's kind of therapeutic, right?
It totally is.
Yeah.
But it also, it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
Because when you can listen to a song, you know, I still to this day, when I listen to, you know, when I put the record on and I hear certain songs, man, it like triggers some really heavy shit, you know what I mean? And, you know, and then, you know, when my 6-year-old is singing Moth and things like that, that's when you know you hit something.
Sure.
When, you know, the first time ever, you know,
Yeah.
out of my entire catalog of music, and it's all of a sudden it's this stuff that's reaching him.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It must feel real good.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
He was at
that
the
is.
show last night on the side stage jamming with
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, well, that kind of brings me to my next question.
Mhm.
The high point. You know, let's turn this around. What was the high point of your career, or, you know, kind of a moment where you stood on stage and you said, "Wow."
Last night and
Yeah.
this whole tour, you know, I mean, you know, we played the Baltimore Arena last night. All my family and my friends were out there, and you know, that venue was my first concert in my entire life. I've seen concerts there my whole life when I was a kid growing up. Going to see Motley Crue, Scorpions, Judas
Yeah.
Priest, Iron Maiden. You know, my very first concert there was my mother took me with my aunt and uncle when I was 3 or 4 years old to see George Harrison and Eric Clapton. So that place,
Yeah.
that very square footage that I stood on last night,
Yeah.
I was out
All
there.
those greats stood there.
All those greats stood
Yeah.
there. So it was that's, you know, I kind of like, you know, saw my aunt and uncle out there, and you know, that was kind of a pretty high point, you know,
Wow,
last
that's
night. Looking
amazing.
over and seeing my family on the side stage, it was,
Yeah.
you know, it's great.
That's fantastic.
You know, but I think right now we're at a high point because, you know, the band is like, it's taking a different swing right now. You know, we kind of shook off what a lot of people were expecting or thought about the band, and now they're getting, you know, all the program directors and radio and everybody out there, journalists, you know, we're thinking they were going to get a typical HellYeah record, but you know what, we gave them this one, and all of a
Major
sudden it's just
curveball.
like, it's different.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna show you really what time it is for this band.
Yeah.
And the best is yet to come. I wasn't finished writing. You know, we were down there and I was just starting to get into the thick of it, man. I was just starting to like really find a groove. Not saying that there is none.
Right.
But there was like, man, I can still keep going. We're out of time and this sucks, man, because I have all these things swirling in my mind. And Kevin, our producer, was just like, you know, we can't go any further. This is it. This is all we can do. But it's funny because like after a couple months after we finished, he wrote me. He was just like, you know, he was producing another band. He was just like, man, I just want to say, man, I miss you guys. And I can't wait to do the record.
Probably this other band, you had to really drag it out,
Well,
right? Where you guys
I don't know.
Right, you know.
See, he had he was kind of, you know, he had, you know, like this idea of what we were supposed to be like. He almost didn't do it because he thought it was just a lot of headstrong people. He didn't know if he would be able to get his point across, his process of doing things, and he found it to be completely opposite when we got in there.
Yeah.
Because I was even though I wrote these songs,
Mhm.
I was a student for him.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn from him. You know what I mean?
Was he expecting some type of resistance or something, maybe?
I don't know
or-
what he was expecting,
Yeah.
but all I do know that, like, from the very first day, I was like, let's do this, let's make a record.
Yeah.
And everything that he helped me write, he helped me become a better songwriter in a lot of ways, to the point where I look at it differently now, like the way that I would structure a chorus or whatever. And I can't wait to get back in and do it again with him.
Excellent. So Kevin's going to be on board for the next one?
He's the only other producer I'll ever work with.
That's great.
I mean, it was that strong of a, you know, if you find something that works and
Mhm.
it feels good, and you're satisfied, like with any recipe, if it's, don't fuck with it.
That's right.
Leave it alone
Yeah.
and just keep making it, you know, and doing it right. Just always use something fresh.
Until it doesn't feel right.
Right.
That's it,
But
sure.
you know, a producer is only as good as the music that he's doing, though,
Mhm.
and
Right.
vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of answered my other question I was going to bring up next was when you're off tour, you know, basically you're hanging with the family. You a football fan?
Ravens, all the way around.
You're up
the
in
block.
Patriots country here. So.
Yeah. There's a good rivalry there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was. I live in Maryland. I'm a total Baltimore boy. I will never leave Maryland. I live on the Chesapeake, and you know, I live on the water, and so people in Maryland know what it's like. You know, just like New England.
Yeah.
You know what I
Hardcore
mean?
fans.
Well,
Sure.
it's not just the sports, but it's
Yeah.
also your community.
Community, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a very strong community. We're very proud. Maryland people are very proud, and
Yeah.
you know, and we love it. You know, we got all the seasons, and we got great teams. You know, obviously the football team is you know, always a top competitor, and our Orioles are first place right now.
Yeah,
kicking some ass,
that's
so.
great in a tough division. So
Yeah,
that's
Baltimore.
awesome. So, well, to tie things off, basically anything left for the fans you want to say to them, or you know, what's next for HellYeah?
You know,
what should they look out for?
I just think that, you know, I just want to say thank you to all the fans out there for sticking by us and just staying along with the ride, man, and to help
Yeah.
convert other new people and bringing. Every time we come into a town, we see familiar faces and a lot of new faces, and so on and so on, and you know, just thank you, and keep coming and keep pushing the word of HellYeah, and we will be touring. I mean, we're just not even a third of the way into our touring cycle. You know, we've been touring nonstop, but
Alright.
got a lot of territories and countries still to go.
So, if anybody missed you, look out for tour dates coming your way, and certainly go out and check out Blood for these guys here. HellYeah,
Right.
thanks a lot. Appreciate your time today.
Pleasure.
All
Thank you.
right, awesome.
Cool, man. That was good.
Hey, really appreciate your time.